Welcome to Your American Dream. I'm Anisha Jennings, and today we're exploring how engineering precision meets wellness vision with Gunjan Utreja, whose journey from semiconductor expert to outdoor community builder proves that sometimes the best paths are the ones we create ourselves. Welcome, Gunjan. Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for this opportunity, Anisha.
You're
It's my
welcome.
pleasure.
So, Gunjan, you came to the US in early 2000s when you were very young, and you come from a very close, tight-knit family, and then you left all of that to come to the US and start your life afresh. Tell us all about that journey and to now where you're the owner of MyTrailPals.
Wow. It's been almost like what, how many years I've been US? It's almost like 23 years, which is half of my life here. Well, let me start. Okay, I came here in 2003 and when I got married, right? That's how my journey to US started. I've never imagined this. That was never in my wildest dream I could have imagined. But it happened. My family found a match, and while I was in engineering doing my bachelor's, almost about to graduate, that's when my family found a match, and ours was arranged marriage. And that's it, right? That ended up me bringing here and completely into a very different world, which I have never imagined I could ever be. Yeah.
So, what was it like leaving your close-knit family in India and coming to the US? What did you experience when you came here? Was it like something you thought you were expecting, or was it completely different? And tell us about, how you navigated those early challenges.
Very good questions, right? I think I was not the only one, right? A lot of us in during that time specifically, right? Many women's like me who were coming on H4 visa, which was a dependent visa, which means you come here you as a dependent on your spouse, and I don't did not have a work permit. So I could not start working here. I did barely finished my bachelor's, so I had to navigate a lot of things when coming here. So let me give you a brief background before coming, how my transition happened. But the family that I came from, right, as you mentioned, that it's a very close-knit family. Our family was my father was very focused on education. So from the very beginning, it was very clear that we have to, no matter what, the education is the primary thing. Even though my family was a business, my father was a business person. My mom is a homemaker, but priority to the education is given equally, whether it's a boy or a girl. Having said that, I have seen that generally in our Indian culture, when it comes to upbringing of a boy and a girl, there's certain aspects which are different. Even though education was equal priority, but girls are expected more, not only on education side, but also to participate in the house chores or whatnot. Whereas the boys are not so much involved in those aspects, right? So when I got married to my spouse and came here, the big positive cultural shock, not the in terms of US, but in the coming from one family to another, I found a big transition, in a sense, a positive transition, where experienced the equal partnership. And I can talk more about it, right? How his upbringing was quite different from mine, which in very positive terms made my experience transition coming to US much smoother, I would say. Which I was not even imagining that it could be that smooth. But credit to my spouse in that regard, because he was the one because he was the only one here when I came, right? I did not know a single person. So I was relying on somebody who I just not only got married, but I just getting to start to know, right? So it was a very big step in that direction and too many unknowns. So he was the one who made sure that I was comfortable here, and he provided his best. And in terms of everything, not only I would say making me comfortable, but helping me with the house chores, being there every step of the way, navigating me through my career, navigating through my education, future education, which I started here. So lot of credit goes to him.
That's amazing. It's so important to have a supportive partner, especially when you're in a relationship and, so many moving parts. So tell us about so when you came here after your marriage and then you settled in and you started your master's degree. So tell us about your master's degree and your internship and your transition into the semiconductor world.
Wow, yes. So my bachelor's was in engineering and VLSI. So when I came here, my only path to get into a workforce was like I had to study here. Otherwise, it was to get into American system, right? What is the way I could get into a workforce? First of all, it was I was coming from a small town back in India, and I studied in a small town even though my background or was engineering, but majority of the education system was in Hindi, right? So my I was not well versed in English at all. So I had to break that inhibition or a barrier. And for that, the path I had to take was to do a master's to get into the system. And so I did follow that path. I took TOEFL. I took prepared for TOEFL, took TOEFL, did GRE, and ended up getting admission into a private university. Again, it was a big, I mean, when I did got an admission, it was a big thing for me to say whether should I say yes or no, because tuition is the big aspect of it, right? And that's again where my spouse supported me and he said, "Do you don't worry about it." Even though he was barely starting his job, and this was when I'm talking about is what 2002, right? Where that finding a job itself in the industry was very difficult, and it was his first job, and it took him what 7 or 8 months to find that job, landed into that job. So him saying yes to me that hey, go for it, and we will figure it out was a big step forward, and that's made me confidence, and how that's how my master's journey started. And again, I did my master's journey in electrical engineering, VLSI.
So tell us about the internship that you started after you graduated, and how did you navigate being the only woman in analog electronics at that time, and the challenges that you faced in early 2000s in the tech world.
Those were very different times when I got into the semiconductor industry. So one thing was for sure when was finishing my master's, right? Founding that internship was just, I think I got lucky in that regard. One of my friend was looking for it, and I said she happened to share it with me, that opportunity. I randomly applied for it, right? And I was not expecting anything, but right, sometimes God has its own way of sharing the path with you. So I ended up getting that internship opportunity. It was a very small startup, 25 people startup. Um, uh, and where I was I would say junior most person, right? First their ever intern that they hire. And being an intern, I got to expose with so many different things, right? I was doing pretty much everything, whatever being asked to with from me to do. So that gave me a lot of experience and confidence. And I was doing design work, I was doing IT work, I was dealing with customers, customer support, and basically that gave me an experience of whole design, semiconductor design industry, how it works. And on top of that, beyond that, I would say, not just the design perspective, but also what kind of challenges customer face and how do you address those challenges, the way you communicate with them, setting up the priorities, and yeah, timelines, deadlines, and a lot more than like a exposure to project management, exposure to escalations, and dealing with managements and stuff like that. Yeah, so I would say that I was lucky to get that opportunity. And at that time, as you mentioned, right, in that 25 people startup, I was the only woman, junior most. And I could initially it was a very different world for me from where I came from. Even in the engineering where I was doing, there were less number of girls, but still I had some female friends around me, right? Here I landed up in an environment where all my colleagues, not only they were a lot older in age, but all of them were men. But having said that, they made me so comfortable. I never felt that out of place. Again, I'm not sure if everybody else had the similar experience, but I was lucky to have that kind of an experience from the very beginning.
So you have lived the Silicon Valley dream, right? And you
Yep.
sort of gave it up. So tell us about that. Like, what was life like being in the Silicon Valley in those early years, and then experiencing what you experienced, and then coming out of it?
Yeah, so I mean, as I said, right, in many terms, I was blessed, but 2008 was a very different time. I got my internship opportunity in 2007 when I just was finishing my master's, and which ended up giving me this full-time role in the same company. But that's when the economy crashed, right? Then when the economy crash happened, right? And I have never ever thought that what I experienced there would that be that depressing or that horrible. It was my first time ever experiencing such environment. So that company that I worked with, which was 25 people company, ended up becoming a three-person company. And I was the third last employee in that company. So all the management, everybody the people who hired me, my managers, directors, everybody was asked to leave slowly. I mean, it happened over a couple of months, but that's where it ended up. And they ended up keeping me because I was the least paid employee and junior's most employee at that point. And they were generous enough. The founder of the company was generous enough to say, hey, Gunjan, you can stay as long as you want, or up till you find another opportunity. So in that regard, I was blessed to have a job. And at that time, like, I was still on student visa. From my dependent visa, I got a student visa, and we did not have a green card. So having a secure job was very important for me. So again, they gave me that opportunity, and survived through those hard. But it was very tough to see how the whole semiconductor, or not just the tech industry, has collapsed at that moment. Not just the tech, but even the housing, and lot happened in that time, and people were going through really, really rough time. Experiencing that gave me a sense of gratefulness that what I have is what value it brings to me.
Amazing, amazing. Yes, I've heard your journey before, and it's so inspiring. And you have two beautiful children. So tell us how becoming a mother influenced your life, and how did it change your career decisions?
Very good question again, right? Well, being a mom, right? When I had my first daughter, which was again when I was navigating, it was the same time when this economy burst happened. I was going through this transition, and that's when I found out I was pregnant with my older one. But we were first time parents. We were super excited, and we made that call. It was our decision to now it's the right time to start the family. So we had our first daughter. It was such a magical experience to have a child. When you hold that first child in your arm, I'm sure you must have experienced it. It felt like that. It's just unbelievable when you hold that little bundle of life in your arms, right? We had first daughter, and then a couple years later, I had my second one. And we have been like any other. And as I said, we don't have a family support here. It's just me and my husband. We are first time immigrants here. So we were raising both of us professionally working, and then raising daughters together. So at times it started becoming challenging, right? When you are day in and day out in this parenting world, it becomes stressful, and you don't have any help. And of course, as you said, equal partnership is very important. So both of us are doing equally, supporting each other whenever we needed support, taking care of picking up drops, school, classes, and whatnot, right? But there are times when it became overwhelming, and but years went by. We were juggling through it, but we were managing through it. And I would say that even while I was raising, I had multiple transition from one company to another as well. So I mean, my role was the role that I had later on, I moved from design engineering to applications engineering, which where I was dealing with a lot of face-to-face customer interactions I was having. That role gave me a lot of energy, right? Every day, my personality is I love to meet people, right? So made a call early in the career that when I'm going to transition from design, I wanted something for myself which gave me a real-time connection with people. And then applications and customer tech role gave me that perspective, and that day in day out was giving me energy, and my job was very fulfilling. I was happily enjoying it. Somewhere until the time COVID, there were some changes happen in my role which made me kind of made that call that now this is it, right? It was becoming overwhelming, and I can share more about it. Yeah, yeah, that's where I started to transition into different role. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So tell us about your break from the corporate life and, transition into the wellness space.
Okay, so I guess their universe has its. When I feel, right, look back now, I feel that universe has a way of connecting dots or navigating you to a certain path. I mean, there are things that are being planned for you which you don't even realize it. So while raising my daughters and going through professional and personal career, there was a time when I was not feeling up to my optimal energy level, not completely fit, not able to give time for myself, right? And there was a low point, and this was, I'm talking about 2014, 2015 time frame, right? There was a low point where it felt like that something got to change. And that's I'm talking about in not terms of professional career, but in terms of personal care. Because as we have still had to take care of our kids, right? But if you don't feel as a person, if you're not feeling well enough, low in energy, then that frustration, anger, or whatever you call it, it comes to your family, right? And it shows on everyone, not just on you. So that's where I decided there's something got to change, and I need to do. I need to spend more time on myself. I need to take my care before I take my family care, right? So that's when I made a call, or I openly announced in my family that, okay, I need my me time. And how can I do that? And I needed my spouse support for that, right? So I started doing some fitness classes, exploring what is that I could do, right? To get back that sanity or my energy level. So I started in 2015, started joining some fitness classes. And but again, as a mom, I always had that guilt that I'm leaving my kids behind, right, to do all of that, even though my spouse was very supportive, but that mom guilt always come, right? And I can see a smile on your face that you go through that as well,
Yeah.
right? So it took me a long time to get over it, right? It was a hard call, because initially leaving those little ones, my daughter was little one was 3 year old, and she used to cling to me and, oh, don't go mommy and whatnot, right? Yeah. So, and I would say that it was the best decision I have ever made and never turned back. So what happened in that was, right, I was not just paving path for my wellness, but when I set a routine to take care of myself, my family kind of evolved around me. The support system automatically evolved around me. They got used to of not me being there, not seeing for that particular maybe an hour or 2 hour, and they figured out what to do and how to manage around that time, right? It took couple of months, as I said, for me and for them also, but then it became kind of a culture, or became kind sort of a norm in the family that mommy is not going to be there during this time, so be it, right?
Yeah.
But that was the best call. And I would suggest for anyone who is listening to that, anyone who is going through this mom guilt, I hope I'm sharing something that could help you move that transition or make that transition easier. Its initial step is difficult, but you just get to go over it. And that is the best thing you can do for yourself. So once I did that, right, then later my experience to outdoors, I can share more about it a little later, but yeah, that's a whole different story.
Yes, yes. We will get into that soon. So, when you made that little switch, right, when you had that little routine, how did that influence your mental health?
Oh man, I cannot tell you, right? The energy I used to get after those fitness session, it's not just like I started attending a Bollywood fitness class, right? The music, the energy, the vibe, right? Not only it was not just helping my physical health, but my mental, and I was making connections with those people around. We had a small little group, and we used to chit chat before and after. So the 1 hour class ended up a 2 hour session because you want to go early, you want to say hi to everyone, and then have a fun time in the class, and then you get out, and then you have to say 15 minutes for bye, right? So
Yes.
I was making all those connections, and it became like eventually in a year or so, it became like a if somebody is not feeling up to in that group, little group, but somebody is not feeling or saying that, hey, I cannot come, other people say, no, you have got to come, right? So it was like became like you have to, whatever you make all the arrangements around, and you have to make sure that you're coming there. And it was such a positive energy boost that when you, even after you are drained physically, you're coming back with lot of energy, and you have lot to give to your family, right? So it was just, so I would say whatever it may be for you, what I chose is my thing, but whatever it may be for you to step out for a walk or what, uh, just your time, or maybe go out for a coffee, right? Whatever it may be for you, just figure that out and get that time for yourself.
Absolutely necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup, right?
Yes. Oh, you said it right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Your cup has to be filled before you start pouring out. Yeah.
yes, indeed. So tell us about how you and your neighbor started your walking journey and how that progressed into now a community.
That's a very interesting story again. This was little before COVID, 2017. Yeah. Yeah, 2017, late 2017, right? I have a very close friend of mine, and I again credit all. I would anytime give credit to her. She reached out to me. Again, we both were in the same environment. She was raising two boys, I was raising two girls, and same type of day in and day out challenges we are all going through. So one day it happened that she reached out to me, "Hey, Gunjan, do you want to over the weekend, do you just want to go for a hike, small little hike before kids wake up? We'll just do 2 3 hours of hike our time early in the morning. Before they wake up, we'll be back." Right. So I said, yeah, why not? Let's give it a try. And I always loved outdoors, but I never found a company like that. Right. And at that point, there was no vision of community or nothing like that. Right. So it was just me and her doing our own thing. We did it one weekend. We just felt so nice and refreshed after coming back. We still had a lot of energy. Kids woke up, and we were ready to take on the challenges of our whole week, personal and professional challenges. Um, we went another week, right? Weekend, basically weekend. One of the weekend, we whether it's a Saturday or Sunday, we used to decide on Friday and just go out there. Um, and then I happened to share with somebody in my office that, hey, we both are going. Do you want to join? That person said yes. That person said shared with somebody else, right? So before we in I would say 5 or 6 weekends in this journey of our hiking, from two of us, we were six every weekend. And again, at that point, there was never a thought of that we are making any community or anything like this. It's just few of us in purely in our neighborhood. We were just planning certain hike randomly on Friday evening. Hey, let's just do. It became a small WhatsApp group. Okay, this weekend we are going here, and it's just and but if all of us, those 5 6 of us initial members who were, we were just having our gala time, right? So I cannot even explain you that the feeling, the energy that, and these are all 5 or 6 people from different walks of life. Like few, me and my other friend who started this journey were in very similar boat. Two other women who joined little later, who were in a who were whose kids were a lot older. Then fifth person who joined, whose kid is 1 or 2 year old, even younger than ours, right? So we were all from different walks of life. These women's are completely, and we were sharing experiences, learning from each other, um, and bonding really, really well. So again, yes, that's how it started. It became, before COVID, it was a group of 20 people, right? And then COVID just blew my mind how it expanded that community, and I can share more on that.
Yes, yes. Please tell us how you guys moved from 20 to now being like a full-fledged community, and you launched this company called MyTrailPals. So tell us all about that journey.
Okay, so right, there was, as I said, there was and COVID hit, right? When we were doing before up until COVID, we were almost like 20 some people. We were all hiking, small WhatsApp group. Then COVID hit, right? And all of us felt very stuck, right? And we kind of, I know it's not just us, and everywhere people were feeling stuck, right? They were locked inside. It was a very different environment and depressing. None of us were used to of it. Then somehow Zoom came as a boom, I would say. That's where we realized the power of virtual technology. And look at this, how we are connecting on this
Yes,
virtual
yes.
technology, right? So one of us, the group member said that, okay, why don't we start a Zoom workout? And we all said, wow, that's a great idea. Can we do that? Let's just do that, right? It's just one person bringing something on the table and everybody raising hands. Yes, 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 right? So every morning we used to, for an hour, we used to work on we were creating our own workouts because all of us had some experience of different types of workouts in our individually. We did this class, that class, right? This club or that club. So all of us were experienced, not just the hikers. We had some fitness routines in our own way. So we said we all together brought that knowledge. So and started leading those morning sessions. So somehow word got out that hey, these girls are doing, and a lot of people, a lot of women were looking for it, right? So one person shared with another, and people, so by the end of COVID, we became a group of 100. Yes,
Wow.
just and this is by just by doing, we were not hiking, we were logged down, and right, we were and small little hiking at the end of the COVID, when people started forming social bubbles, it started, but again, we were not doing community hikes or anything like that. And it all so from 20 or plus to we became 100, just like that. And then the idea of making it a Facebook community because WhatsApp was becoming unmanageable. Then we thought, okay, let's just make a Facebook community. And the whole transition happened there. And in a year or two, we never, I would say, like did any social marketing or anything like that for our community. It was just purely our love for nature, for outdoors, and the positivity that we were bringing and was empowering the community by itself. It was a very organic growth, I would say, right? People were just loving whoever used to join our hikes, they just used to love it. And slowly, over the period of time, now it's what we are talking about 2025, we have almost 1,000 plus members in the
Wow.
community. Facebook started the showing it as one of the top ranking community, women community. We are
Nice.
still very close-knit private community. We haven't opened it publicly, but we are saying we are able to, and now we have amazing four. Initially, there were two of us were the admins leading it, but now we have amazing four women who were partnering well and managing that community, leading hikes. I used to be the one initially to lead all the hikes, but I don't have to worry about it. Community runs by itself because we have such an empowering, amazing women. And somehow that sparked the idea of My Trail Pals. Yeah.
Yes. Tell us more about MyTrailPals and the future of it and the launching of it and everything about MyTrailPals.
Let me tie dots like that, right? So I am from a hardware engineering background, right? When COVID hit, this hiking community was the one that was giving me a lot of energy. At the same time, my work, which I used to love, slowly started on a path where my role changed, my management changed. There were a lot of things in my professional environment was changing. And the lockdown itself, right? Customer environment change, and I was in a completely different zone and working with global teams. There was a point when I was just not able to cope up with that, and was started to feeling burnt out with, and I was holding it for a long time. Almost an year, I was thinking about it. What should I do? I was even talking to my management to see if they can help me out. But there were a lot of things going on even in the company that there were things in were not in my management control as well. And I don't blame them for it. So a point came when I thought now I had to make a call. Right? What should I do? Should I continue? Because it started showing stress not on my personal health, but it started again impacting my family. I was not able to spend time with any of give. And in fact, my daughter, older one, started to ask me, Mama, if we cannot see you in this condition, you are never available for us. Why don't you quit, right? So that those were her words, right? So that made me think, right? How can I? And again, you cannot just out of the bloom say that you can quit a job, right? It living in a Bay Area, Silicon Valley, having a job is so crucial. I cannot, right? So financial burden, but having a spouse support, and
Mhm.
that was the, I mean, it was a family call. It was not just me saying, "Hey, I can quit," because I had to think through a lot of implication how we are going to support. Then my spouse again assured me that don't worry about it, take a break. See, and then you will always come back. You can always come back, right? So
Yeah.
that's when I made that call. Having said that, it was a very good call in the terms that while my kids were transitioning, right, they were becoming a teenager. My girls needed a lot of my attention. And that's where, I mean, their growth spurs were, right? They were going through a lot of ups and downs, and being in the situation I was in, I was not able to pay attention to all of that, and they needed me. So I guess those crucial years for taking that break was very important for me, and it really helped my relationship with my kids and taking care of them basically, right? And it relieved the burden on from my spouse as well, because I took an ownership of all those aspects, and he was not the primary support of line. He has a lot because he was anyways was working full time, right? So but that created sort of a balance in our family, and it was a healthy balance, I would say. Having said that, I being a financially independent woman, right? You always there's always a thing, right? How can you not be in that situation, right? I've never thought that I would be in this journey of my trail paths, but I always had in mind when even with this community, when I kept thinking that I had to do something beyond, right? This beautiful thing that we are creating this locally does not have to be located in this. How can I take it beyond, right? That's where the idea of my trail pals, and as you can see that I'm still wearing, proudly sharing my my trail pals t-shirt. So the thought was creating a platform where more and more people can experience the magic of outdoors by connecting with people around them. So, what we are building was very locally. What we have created is very local. If I could do that and I could experience that magic, and around me, so many women can experience that magic, it how can other people experience that magic, right? And there is a real value in connecting with nature, as well as real value in the sense of not just physical, but it's a overall wellness is very much associated to it. And when you connect the nature with the social, those two aspects just creates a, what I would say is like a, if even if you look at the studies, right, it's just not me what experiences. Even if you have like look at scientific studies, outdoors with social life is what is helping the lifespan or longevity of your life. I'm not sure if you have watched this documentary, a very famous documentary on Netflix, which is called Blue Zones. If you ever get a chance, just do check it out, right? So the one of the things that is impacting, or is it a critical factor on those blue zones where the people are centennials, with the people who are living beyond 100, what are the different ingredients that are helping that, and one of them was a social aspect. The moment you build a community around it, or that automatically expands your lifespan, right? And combining that with the nature is what creates a magic beyond. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm trying to bring with my trail paths, that more and more people can experience the magic of outdoors, and while connecting with people around them. Instead of being on virtually on the screens, you using a technology to be out there.
So, when is this app releasing?
Very good questions. We are almost very at the end of the development stage. I am hoping to get it out end of this quarter. Let's keep my fingers crossed, right? You never know how things go by, but that's what my goal is. Having said that, this I'm still taking. If you check out our website, www.mytrailpals.com, there's a sign up already going on. So we are taking sign ups for beta testing. We are taking sign ups for feedback because we want to love from our outdoor community, or even if not outdoor. For example, if you as a user want to explore, what is that you are looking for? We are open, very much open to feedback, right? Is I am putting out there something that what I experienced and what I heard from our community based on their feedback, but it does not have to be limited to that, right? So I'm very much open to see what audience has to share, and based on that, how we can cater or address their challenges or needs.
Amazing. So, with all your cultural background and all your experiences, how has that shaped you as a business owner?
I would say it's still shaping me. Right? I'm not yet there, right? Because my product is still not out there. So I there's a lot to learn. But one thing for sure I would share is that you have to be patient. And I cannot even stress more how much it's just help the patience level has to be right here, even on the top, because there are things that you want, but there are things that are not under your control. Things you are creating a timeline, but that timeline is due has so many factors involved in it. When that will change, you don't have a control. Sometimes you don't have a control on it, and those are all the things that I am learning as I'm navigating my journey. So you have to be very patient, and at the same time, resilience is very, very, very important. I cannot stress enough that yeah, without those two, it's this journey itself is a tough, and at the same time you need to think about building a support system around you. So sometimes when I feel alone, at the same times I see that I'm part of so many founder networks where I see that it's not just me. There are other people who are navigating their journey through, and we share our learnings with each others. And this whole community around me who is cheering for me, right? Who is watching over me, who share their learnings with me. Whether I get my trail pals today, tomorrow, or whenever, right? But I know that there's something to it. I'm not ready to stop. I'm just gonna take it to next level and see what happens, right? There are things, as I said, which are not under our control, but you just have to got to give it. Yeah. If not me, who else will do it?
Yes,
Right?
yes. You don't know until you
Yeah.
try, right?
Until I try. Yeah.
Yes, amazing. Well, I wish you all the best for it. So, what would be a few takeaways from your journey this far that you would like to share with other women who are probably coming to the country after getting married or who are brand new to the country and are starting their journey and are thinking about a career or a business? What would be your advice?
It is going to be slightly overwhelming because there is, especially the person like me who are coming from a east to west, the cultural shock, the environment shock is a very big thing. But you got to be open to adapt, right? You got to be open to, there is plus and minuses for every culture, every society. And there are, I would say, if you are open for pluses, there are a lot more pluses. So be open to listen, be open to see things, be open to adapt to things, right? While maintaining your own cultural identity. You don't have to give it away, right? You can be intact at your core, but at the same time explore things and learn from those things. What you like, keep it. What you don't like, don't keep it, right? But be adaptive to it. In terms of career, I mean, I would say yes, there is a lot more opportunities. I mean, when I came, there was a lot less, but now there are the way the technology is evolving, there are a lot more opportunities out there. You just have to find, I think the most important thing is connecting. networking. Be open to network and find out ways to network. There's LinkedIn. There is all sorts of technology that make that is providing us all those venues. So, and find those people, find your tribe. Like I found my tribe. Actually, now I'm talking on tribe. I'll give you a slogan, right? Well, for our tribe. I came up with this slogan, which was very much aligned with our this hiking community, a tribe where fitness with fun and friendship thrives. That's what the slogan we gave to this community, right? And it's one of our t-shirt. Every year we make a t-shirt, and in one of our t-shirt that is slogan came. So I'm gonna say that find your own tribe, whatever that may be for you. And once you find that, just stick to it. Another thing I advise, that if you think of supporting somebody, just show up. The least that you can do for somebody is just showing up. Even, I mean, just be there for them, whichever way it is. You don't have to do much. Just show up for somebody. That would be your biggest support if you think of supporting somebody.
Yes, being present is very
Being
important.
present, yeah.
Yes.
Being present, yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. So, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what is the best way to reach you? Or, like you said, people, please go and sign up on mytrailpals.com and participate in the beta testing, and let's all support Gunjan.
Thank you so much. And I would say thank you, Anisha, for giving this platform for so many amazing, I mean, sharing the stories, learning from each other. I was listening to your previous podcast, and it's just amazing how inspiring those journeys are. Each of us are navigating our pathways. So thank you. Kudos to you for giving us this platform, and wish you very best on your journey.
Thank you.
And as you asked me, right, LinkedIn is the best way to reach out to me. And of course, I would be happy to help if anybody wants to, not just be on My Trail Pulse, if anybody wants to learn from my outdoor journey or my any other professional journey, my previous careers, whatnot, right? Just feel free to reach out to me, just a click away. And yes, do appreciate the audience sign up for beta testing, and for future, I mean, shout outs, and when app is ready, I will be reaching out to that audience. Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you so much for your time and being here. I can't wait to see all the success this app is going to bring you, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, Anisha. It was lovely chatting with you. Yeah.
Thank you. As we conclude our conversation with Gunjan, remember that every career pivot is an opportunity to align your expertise with your passion. This is Anisha Jennings reminding you that sometimes the trail to success leads right through nature. Until next time.